I guess also it's about perspective and what part of the situation you're looking at. So for example, Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, we can, what the world is being shown is only the successes. We didn't see the 20, 30 years of failures that they had and the number of times that they had to keep building themselves up. We only see that small part where they've succeeded, and that's what's made them famous. And also perhaps for people who are starting their own business, perhaps the client that you worked with, I guess maybe people aren't actually looking at all the other people that have got their own businesses and all the failures that they've had, but that's what you learn from. People are only seeing all the successful businesses around the world, or even in New Zealand. They're not actually seeing how many years it took or how many tries and different ways that people had to work to get to where they are.
Absolutely. You never see the scars. You never see the scars, and that's the thing right there. And so it's, but it is linked to the fact that we are living in a world where we are celebrating success. And that's about it. We are not celebrating failure. We are celebrating success. It's as simple as that. And so if you don't succeed, you are getting forgotten. And that is the truth. It's about, like, you can take any, for example, if we take, like the great sports people out of this world, they became successful because they succeeded. Like they became famous because they succeeded. They are remembered because they succeeded, not because of their failure. And even if they failed there and there, we're going to remember them for the success that they had. So it's true, you never see the scars unless there's going to be some documentary that will bring up like a little bit of the background. But it is. I would say it's the judgment that people will carry on the eye that we want to see. And so I think, although it's part of the world that we only celebrate success and not failure, I think we need to remind ourselves that failure is part of the success. And it would be foolish to think that success comes without failure, because there's no success without failure. That's impossible. So it's us as individuals to remember that.
Exactly. I'd like to just take it back to the affirmations and visualization for a second. So are there any other tips or tricks or ways around it for people who perhaps are wanting to do that but don't have the opportunity, perhaps because they're at work or they can't find a quiet place by themselves, to practice that, but can't walk around a room or look at themselves in the mirror? Are there other ways that you can say affirmative statements to yourself or practice visualization?
Visualization will be a lot easier than affirmation, because visualization, you can just close your eyes and you can do it, and that's fine. I remember sometimes doing visualization, even like not closing my eyes, just walking around the room and checking. So for example, I used to be a professional drummer, and like before going on stage, one of my favorite things, once we've done the sound check and all of that, before the crowd was coming into the room, I used to love sitting in the crowd, sitting in one of the seats and just looking at the stage. And then I was just projecting myself with, like, thousands of people and being like on stage and just rocking it and that type of thing. So I was, if you prefer, it's like kind of daydreaming, like literally daydreaming, and you always have time for daydreaming, literally. So the visualization is actually quite easy. The affirmation one would be, it's about, you can do it you can do it without saying it out loud, if you prefer, because it's true that if you start shouting in the street or at the office, it might look a bit awkward. So it's kind of like, saying the things between your teeth, or like, just whispering it. But if you can make your inside voice strong enough to convince you, then that's fine. It's really about making that voice strong enough, like putting the volume at the maximum to get that affirmation. And it's a fun exercise because you can play with it. You can literally imagine yourself that inside yourself there's that little guy with like a megaphone that is on top on top of a roof, on the rooftop of a big city and shouting, I'm this person, I'm this person, I'm that person. It's quite fun, but that's the effect that you want to have, is to have the empowerment. We're here to create a positive vibe. So yeah, you can definitely do that. It's kind of like daydreaming as well, but daydreaming with conviction. The idea of this is to have the conviction of what you're saying to yourself.
Is there a period of time that visualization takes its best effects? So for example, perhaps if you're a sports player and you've got the ball or whatever and you're taking a shot, can a few seconds of visualization help, or does it require something like a couple of minutes for it to work?
A few seconds can do. A few seconds can do. A very good example, a very, very good example is the baseball player. The baseball player who's waiting for the guy to throw the ball. Basically, before he hits the ball, he visualizes himself hitting the ball. So it's, you know, every throw is a new opportunity. So every time he has like that few seconds where he's waiting for the ball, and he visualizes and he sees himself hitting it, literally. So if he does that exercise, he builds the self-confidence to be able like to hit it and to get a home run. So it literally, that's a perfect example of just a few seconds of visualization on the spot. But also, yeah, you can do visualization like for a few minutes if you want. Basically, the advantage with visualization is, and affirmation, both of them, is you can extend them as much as you want. The idea is always going back to what is the outcome you want out of it. The outcome is simple, is to increase your self-confidence. If you think you need to do more visualization and more affirmation because you don't think you're confident enough, then yeah, be my guest, go for it. But if you filled up your self-confidence bucket enough, then you can go through the world and you can do it. Because at the end of the day, what is important is, it's not to stay sitting and watching what's going on. The idea is to get on the field and start playing. That's why you need to build your self-confidence, because it doesn't take self-confidence to watch a tennis game at all. But it takes self-confidence to be on the field and be one of these players right there. So it's really that purpose that you want to achieve, is to put you on the field.